William, tell me a scary story.
Chris, the last time I told you a scary story, Sandy got all mad at me because you had these nightmares and you wake up drenched in sweat. No, I don't want to put up with that again. I don't want Sandy yelling at me because of you.
Well, come on, we're at the Redwood Forest. Tell me a scary story.
Did you ever hear the one about the hooker killer?
Is there hookers in it?
No. It's about a guy with... Look, just don't worry about the name, okay? The name really isn't all that important, so... I can tell you that one if you want.
Yes.
Yeah?
Tell me about that one.
Okay. So, this story happened a long time ago. It's like back in the 50s when they still had big metal automobiles. It has to deal with two people, a guy and a girl. They're about 17, 18 years old, about seniors in high school, ready to graduate and go out. So the girl's parents really didn't like the guy a whole lot. They thought that he was only there to get her in bed and call it good. So they didn't like her spending any time with him. One day, the girl's parents decided, they worked at this mental facility where all the crazy people worked. And
Is that where the hookers are?
No, there's no hookers. And Chris, it's not that kind of hooker, okay? There's no hookers in the story. Okay. Anyways, so they went to the mental facility and they left her at home and she's like, wow, this is going to be a great time. I can call my boyfriend out and we can go camping. Just like we're doing right now. So she calls him up. She's like, hey, let's go camping. And of course, he's like, oh, yeah, finally, get some of this. So he decides to drive down there and pick her up and take her out camping.
Now, she's a hooker, right?
No, Chris, there's no hookers in this story. There's no hookers. It's about a guy. The hook, just don't worry about the hookers, okay?
Okay.
So, anyways, the guy goes and he picks her up and he takes her out camping to the Redwood Forest, right where we're at. So he picks her up and he takes her out there and they get this really beautiful campsite. It's really gorgeous looking and it has a cabin in it. And really nice cabin, really nice wooden cabin. So they're out there, they're sitting by the fire and just enjoying themselves, listening to the radio. And the guy decides to get, a little closer and a little closer to her and a little closer. And, she's okay with it. Then all of a sudden, something pops on the radio. And the news announcer. Big news. There's been an insane criminal that escaped the insane asylum that night. And he was on loose. And that insane asylum was the same one that her parents worked at, which was 5 miles down the road. Whoa. She starts getting worried. It's like, wow, what is this? This guy could be anywhere. He can be right here, right now. And the guy was all like, oh, don't worry about it. There's no chance that he's gonna come here and mess with us. And if he does, I'll take care of him. So she's like, okay. So they get a little bit closer, sitting at the campfire. Then all of a sudden, the news bulletin pops on again, saying once again, the escaped criminal from the insane asylum is loose and is urging everybody to get indoors and lock the doors and be quiet. And so she gets worried and she's just like, we need to do what the news announcer is saying. We need to go inside and lock the doors. So she just starts freaking out. It's like, nope, that is enough. We are done. We are going in the cabin and I'm just too worried about this. And so of course he's upset. He's like, all I want to do is just have a little bit of fun. He's like, this is the one chance that we finally get to be with each other without your parents interrupting us. And she gets mad, so she just storms off to the cabin. Cabin 105.
That's our cabin number.
is, isn't it? I never thought of that. But anyways, so he's out there by the fire, upset, balls as blue as shit. And he's like, I think I'm done with her. I think I'm done with her. So he takes the dirt and he throws it on the fire, puts the fire out, walks to the door, and he hears something. He hears something out in the woods. Something that doesn't sound natural. It's like, it could be an animal, but that doesn't really sound like an animal. It kind of sounds like a footstep. So he pulls out his flashlight, he shines it across the tree. He's trying to look to see what he could possibly see. But of course, nothing reflects back except for the green and the bark. Everything behind it is just black. And he just kind of stops for a second and listens. Doesn't hear anything, so must be nothing. Turns his flashlight off. Turns around, looks inside, sees his girlfriend in the cabin. And in her bed. Not waiting for him. He's mad. He starts stomping towards the cabin, takes the door, and just slams it shut. That's kind of weird. Took a little bit more energy to slam that door shut than normal. Oh well, doesn't matter. Locks the door, goes and lays down, goes to bed. Nothing for him tonight. Then they wake up the next morning. He wakes up kind of early. It's like, still upset. Decides to, let's go start a fire, make some coffee. So he opens the door. Still kind of angry at her. Looks back, sees she's still laying there. Whatever. Slams the door closed. And when he slammed it closed, it didn't make the normal sound that you hear when you hear a door close.
No?
No. It made a weird fall and clinking sound.
What?
So he turns around and he looks at the door handle to his door at his cabin, cabin 105. And all he sees is a bunch of smeared blood dripping downward. And he follows the drips downward. And on the ground, he finds the hook that was attached to that insane criminal. So when he looked down and he saw the hook on the ground, he realized that was the hooker killer. The man with one hook for a hand that kills people. Yeah. And they also say that they never found him. They never did find the one-handed hooker killer.
No, after all this time, you haven't found him?
No, never found him. And the other weird thing is the fact that they don't really have pictures of him or anything like that.
No?
So it's not like they can just say, hey, look for this guy that's going around killing people with his hook on his hand. So he could look like anybody. He could look like you. Or he could even look like me. Chris, calm down. It's fake. It's fake. It's all fake. It's just made up. Chris, calm down. Chris, people are hearing you. You're starting to embarrass me now, okay? Okay, well, apparently you're not going to stop screaming for no damn reason, even after I already told you that it's fake. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to go inside then.
Wait! He could come back.
Chris, it was me